What is up, guys? NinjaNick333. We're back with another round of the Flipside Gaming East Greenbush League Challenge. This is round 2, best of 1. I do know that I'm going into a Rotom VSTAR deck with my Lugia this round, so I thought, you know what, it would be interesting to put that on camera. So that is why I chose to put myself on 2 rounds in a row. I'm going to get the win on the die roll, so I do go first. I'm going to be able to nest ball here. There isn't any way that the Rotom deck can knock me out turn 1, so I don't really need a second Lugia, but I kind of forget that, so I go ahead and bench that second one down. Well, actually, no, because you can Electric Generator with this deck now. I don't think he's playing that, but you can Electric Generator turn 1, and that would be a really bad time. You could hard attach to that Cramorant in the active. I do like that he's playing Cramorant. A lot of these Rotom decks don't usually play a one-prize attacker, and it's really easy to just weave a Cramorant in, especially since you lost own a bunch of your own cards. So for those who don't know what Rotom VSTAR does, the Rotom V and VSTAR both have the same attack. The Rotom V is 40+, the Rotom VSTAR is 80+, and that additional damage is 40 for every tool card from your discard pile that you lost zone. So I do get the Single Strike Urshifu down here because I do know that I want to evolve that next turn. Even the first attack should be able to one-shot a Rotom VSTAR, won't be too bad. So we are using the Galarian Articuno V's ability now. It allows you to discard 2 cards from your hand to draw 1 card, so it gets rid of the Vitality Band, that is a tool card, as well as the Hisuian Heavy Ball. I guess we don't need to look through our prize cards this game. Able to draw 1 card. And funnily enough, after this tournament, I found out that this guy on the left, his name is Hunter. He actually knew me from my YouTube channel before actually meeting me here in this tournament. I think there was one other league challenge we were both at together. But I think it's cool that I'm starting to meet some actual subscribers IRL here. So we do go for the EXP share on the Rotom V, and then use Rotom V's ability, which allows you to draw 3 cards in your turn. So it's a really great way to get those cards stacked up into the hand so you can maybe get into those tool cards. Rotom VSTAR is not a joke. I like to joke with my friends about it a lot. So here is the Single Strike Urshifu V Max. I was able to have that. I did already have that in hand, so that is why I nest balled for it the previous turn as well. Unfortunately, it did get bossed up to the active. My opponent is trying to stall a little bit in that regard. So I am going to judge and hope to God that I can get into these Archeops and maybe an Ultra Ball to get them into the discard pile. But so this is going to be a really good judge here. So I judge in, I want to say the one card that I judged into the deck was Urna Vitality. That's very important to remember. So just keep that in mind for the rest of the game. So we do judge, we draw 4 cards, and we get, okay, so I got, yeah, I show it to the camera. I got Boss, Research, and double Capturing Aroma. So I go, okay, I can just hold on to this hand for now, pretend it's dead. I can double Capturing Aroma, flip heads on both of them, hopefully, and then I can research my way into double Archeops. So we'll just have to see if we can actually do that. Of course, Boss's orders will be a casualty of that. I would love to be able to boss up that Rotom VSTAR and be able to attack it. But unfortunately, not going to look like that will be the play on the next turn at the very least. So, of course, big handful of even more tool cards. Can just discard those. It's cool that the Rotom VSTAR, you can play the Choice Belt, but also, like, you can attach it to your Pokemon, but you can also discard it. So you're doing technically 10 less, but you can keep it on the Rotom for future turns. So we're going to Ultra Ball away. A couple tool cards here. Yeah, he takes a moment to see if he wants to even search his deck here. But he is. Yeah, so my game plan is going to be get this Single Strike Urshifu online, but I'm going to have to hit through the Cramorant. So on my next turn, I'm thinking, alright, I'm likely going to get the double Archeops. Even if I somehow flip double Tails, I'll probably draw into Archeops and Ultra Ball to at least get 1 Archeops in play. If I get 2, I could decide to retreat my Urshifu into the Lugia and attack. to try to conserve the single strike Urshifu, or I could just hope that my opponent doesn't have enough tools in the discard. So I do look through, just now I looked through the discard pile and I counted 5 tools. He needs 2 more tools in the discard pile in order to be able to one-shot my Urshifu. So I am going to consider risking it in order to see if the Urshifu can live. Because if I can get through the Cramorant and then at least through one Rotom, we're even on prize trade. So he's just deciding where he wants to attach to the Pokemon. He is a little bit of a newer player, so he goes, I don't get it back for the experience share if I retreat, right? And I said, that is correct, you don't. So he says, I'm just going to attach to my other Rotom, which is smart. Spread the energy in case I do have the boss's orders and the Ultra Ball double Archeops. So here we go, capturing Aroma. We're going to flip, and it's, of course, Tails. So that's going to be potentially only 1 Archeops in the discard pile. The law of averages does say that my next capturing Aroma will be a heads. So I go through and I look through and I'm like, okay, what do I want to possibly put into play or just into my hand? So trying to just use this capturing Aroma to try to thin my deck. There was a time where I was playing a lot of Great Balls. I think I was playing 3 capturing Aroma and 3 Great Balls. But I just decided, since most people are playing the capturing Aroma, that just probably feels like that's the more correct option. So here is the second capturing Aroma. We're going to flip, and it is Tails. I like how I even put it into that wasn't intentional to put it in view of the camera. But we do get another Tails, so we are going to grab the Lugia V. So now my plan is to bench the single strike Urshifu and then discard the Lugia V with the research, so that's just out of the deck. I don't need to worry about that being in there because I don't 2 Lugia is already more than enough. It can one-shot a Rotom V, but it's not going to last against a Rotom V or VSTAR. So I do attach for turn the V-Guard energy and I research. So here we go. We're going to have to get into double Archeops and Ultra Ball, and that's exactly what we got. So double Archeops, Ultra Ball, my opponent is like, nice! Because that's exactly what I was looking for. So I am able to actually attack with either the Urshifu or the Lugia here, and in hindsight, the more correct decision is to retreat into the Lugia. But that would then also make it so I need to get into some urns because I'll be discarding potentially single strike energies. But what I could have done is I could have put the V-Guard energy on my active. I could have put double turbo energy on it as well with the first Archeops, and then use the second Archeops to charge up the Lugia V that's on my bench. And now I don't have to risk any single strike energies going into the discard pile if I do get one shot. So this is not correct to be attacking with the Urshifu this turn. I should just put the Lugia in harm's way, take the knockout on the Cramorant with the Lugia, and then save the Urshifu on my bench. Because then maybe my opponent has to waste some tools to try to one-shot the Lugia. Because the one that is a Rotom VSTAR right now doesn't have a choice belt on it, so it's only doing base 80. So 8. So you'd have to lost zone 2 tools, which would mean that my opponent would again be 2 tools. It would be now 4 tools short of being able to one-shot an Urshifu. So I am just counting it up. We're going to use the first attack Beatdown in order to do 140 damage to that Cramorant. Actually, and then I think it resists fighting too, so I think it's just 120. But either way, that is enough to knock it out. So we do see the second energy attach going to the Rotom VSTAR. And we do have a Miriam in hand as well as a Forest Sealstone. So he's choosing to use the Miriam here. He's going to shuffle in a couple Pokemon back into his deck. So gets that Rotom VSTAR back into there so that he can use that to evolve the Rotom V that's already in play. And he gets to draw an extra few cards as well. Not the most ideal supporter to have this turn. You would have preferred to have a research. He could have put the Forest Sealstone down on the Articuno and used it to grab a research. But this more conservative play might be just fine as well, because he only needs 2 tool cards in the discard pile. So he draws 3, gets the Rotom VSTAR back, which is awesome for him. And we do get 1 tool card here in our hand. We still have that Forest Seal Stone. We can still use the VSTAR power. And then, of course, the Rotom VSTAR also has its VSTAR power as well that it could always use. I forgot exactly what the VSTAR power does. I think he uses it in this game. Discard any number of cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. So he is going to do that. Uses the VSTAR power to discard, draw 3. And then he has the Articuno, so he can discard 2 and draw 1. So that puts exactly the amount of tool cards that are needed into the discard pile so that he can Lost Zone them. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4 is 280, plus 80 is 360, minus 30 for the V-Guard energy is 330. That is an exact knockout. So now I'm sweating a little bit. So I'm like, okay, I'm down 2 single strike energies. One of them is prized. And I do have the V-Guard energy, so I can draw until I have 7. So we are going to draw 2. That is why I put it on there, just in the off chance that I did get knocked out. I can draw a couple extra cards. And now I need Tyranitar to be able to attack with Single Strike Crush. I still feel very good here because I forced my opponent. This is the other reason why it's good to leave the Urshifu up. So my opponent no longer has any amount of tool cards in the discard pile. So as long as I can find an Urn of Vitality this turn, I can put those 2 single strike energies back into the deck. I think I have 1 in hand, or either 1 in hand or 1 left in deck, but I will need 1 more. Flip Tails for capturing Aroma here to get another basic Pokemon just to thin my deck. It didn't matter if it was heads or tails, really. But yeah, the thing is, I need to find an Urn of Vitality. I still have all 3 of them in my deck. I did turn 1 or turn 2, whatever it was, judge the urn back into my deck. Tripping over my own words here again. So I have a big hand here, and I'm just deciding exactly what the best course of action is on how to draw those cards. I think I have to put the Luminion down in order to get the research. So here's another mistake that I make here. So I attach the double turbo energy to the Lugia so that I can have the energy to attack. But if I put V-Guard energy onto there, that's potentially another tool card that my opponent needs in the discard pile in order to one-shot that if he were to boss it up. I do know that there's that choice belt on the Rotom VSTAR as well. So I do play Mesagosa, flip head so I can thin yet another 1 Pokemon out of my deck. So I'm doing a great job thinning here, maximizing my odds to try to hit this Urn of Vitality. I already used the first Archeops to try to get the 1 energy out of my deck that was in there. So again, maximum odds to hit the Urn of Vitality here. Plenty of cards still in deck here. So now I'm going to use the Luminion. I'm going to Luminosine to grab the Research. Put that in my hand. We got the nice Ninja Nick art of the Professor's Research. Because I'm apparently a robot. Spoilers for the game. So we are going to research that big hand away. See, there is the V-Guard energy that I could have put on the Lugia. So that might end up mattering. And I just need a single Urn of Vitality in my hand out of the 3 that were in my deck. I drew like almost half of what was left in my deck. And as you can see, I did not slap the urn down immediately. So here I am grabbing my head, wondering what I'm going to do here. Because all I can do is Cragalanche. I can hit for 80, but I'm still not hitting quite enough with Cragalanche. Yeah, so I say I'm going to use Cragalanche. It does 80 and mill 2. And my opponent's like, wait, how does it do 80? It says 60. And I'm like, yeah, because the single strike energy is plus 20. So yeah, just hit 80, mill 2 cards. We get rid of Pokestop and Rotom VSTAR. So the cool thing about Rotom VSTAR now is Pokestop mills the tools. the tools used to go to your hand with Pokestop. Because they were items, but now they're no longer items, they're just tool cards. So playing Pokestop as your stadium of choice in here is actually a really cool concept. Previously, people were just using single strike tools and the Tower of Darkness in order to discard the single strike tools. I actually like the Pokestop a lot better. So he's deciding what he wants to do here because he can't really hit for all that much. But he does have a Serena and a Lumineon here. So looks like we are going to use the Galarian Articuno V to discard 2 cards and draw 1. We do get a choice belt here. Got enough tools in play already. We already got 1 on each of the Rotom and the Rotom V, both of the Rotom VSTARs. So we're going to count how many tools we have in the discard. There is 1, at least. So we do have the Serena in hand, so the correct choice is to Serena up the Lugia VSTAR and try to knock that out. So he goes, I'm going to Serena that up if that's okay. And I'm like, well, it's not okay, but I can't do anything about it. So he is going to retreat into the one that has the choice belt here. Again, that is the correct thing to do because now you are able to take the 1 shot here. So I should have put the V-Guard energy on it because that could have potentially canceled out some damage. So if we lost on 1 tool, that's 40. Plus the base 80 is 120. 150 times 2 for weakness is 300. So yes, if I had put the V-Guard energy, the Lugia would have lived on 10. So that's okay. I can beat this. I can beat Rotom with Lugia twice at regionals, but I can't do much of anything here. So Rotom goes down to 1 prize card, and I'm still at 5, and I can still win. There is a way to win the game still. So I'm gonna keep thinning my deck. Mesagosa, hit the heads. We're gonna grab the Radiant Serena. So this is the odd thing. So I do have another research in my hand. I could use the research and basically guarantee getting into an urn this turn, but I need to attack with Tyranitar at least 2 times. So I need to make sure that there is at least an additional like 10 cards in my deck to make sure that I don't deck out. So I can use the research here, but I'm instead deciding to thin out my hand of a lot of the dead Pokemon that I don't need and my deck of the Pokemon because I do already have Judge in deck, and I fan it out. I'm like, there they are, they're all in there, and I have to risk hitting it off the Judge, otherwise I'm gonna deck myself out with the Single Strike Crush. So I've been doing such a great job thinning to try to get to the urn, but now it's getting to the point where now I'm not going to have any energies, so I'm probably going to have to take all 5 remaining prize cards just with the Tyranitar. Just because of the fact that I don't really have any energies left in deck. So here I'm still considering whether or not I want to go for the research or the Judge. I've thinned out as much as I can. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just have to. I count my deck. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I have like 7 or 8 cards left in deck. So if I research, I just deck myself out. And then I can't win. So I go for the Judge, which is the correct play, and I just have to hit Urn of Vitality off of here. So again, I did see one that I judged back into the deck super early in the game, but I have not seen a single one since. They're all in the deck. I'm shuffling as vigorously as I can, hoping to God that I can find one in the top 4 cards here. And all my opponent really needs to win the game is basically just a Lightning Energy. As long as I miss this urn. And I draw my 4 cards. And you can see the tilt of... I'm just very upset here that I did not get it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm just like, Cragalanche, just do it again. Hopefully I can get there with Cragalanche. I cannot afford to go through any more of my deck, so... We're going to have to Cragalanche, hope we do not get knocked out. And we look at our opponent's hand here. At any point, if he's able to bring up Lumineon, I lose. And we see the Galarian Articuno discards 2 cards to draw 1. And we have the Serena now in hand. So now all he has to do is Serena up the Luminion and he wins. So, that's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. That was a rough game for me. I got everything I needed but the urn. So, yep, here he goes. He goes Serena. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Move that up and it gets knocked out. So as always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all that good stuff. I could not overcome the sheer power of the Rotom VSTAR this day. It was very unfortunate. And here I'm explaining, like, this is how many cards I have left in deck after the judge. I still have all 3 urns. I just couldn't risk milling myself out with single strike crush. It's just a very unfortunate draw for me. Just not being able to get that urn. But again, that's just how it works sometimes. We'll see you guys next time.